Obviously, with Northwestern, got tremendous respect for Coach Fitzgerald and what he's been able to do there. You know what you're getting with them. They're going to have a few things in the game plan, offense, defense, and special teams, like we all do. But I'd probably compare them a lot like Iowa to the two most tenured coaches in the Big Ten. Their staffs are the same way. Very little change in his career there and his staffs, offensively, defensively, and special teams. They're going to play hard. They're going to be fundamentally sound. They got good schemes. But what you see is what you get. And, it's been a really nice model for them. And, it's going to be a challenge. So no update on Mike. I know you got to ask. And I think you guys all know what my answer is going to be. But no update. Looks great. And then the tight ends, we're excited about the development. I think Pankos has played really well this year and the opportunities he's gotten in. I think Jonathan Holland's got a very, very bright future and is continuing to grow. He's another one of those guys, learning and understanding, patience. When opportunities come, take advantage of them. Obviously, he got some opportunities last week. Both of those guys did. And, there's going to be more opportunities as this season progresses. But really no updates. I mean, we expect Mike to play on Saturday, as well as the other tight ends. First of all, Tommy's doing great. It's no different than when you guys ask about a certain guy getting the ball or why we run a certain scheme. It's all based on the game plan that we put together. If Joe feels like the package that we have fits the team that we're playing that week, then we use it. There's some formations that you guys see one week that you don't see the next week. And it's the same deal with personnel. It's the same deal with having two quarterbacks on the field. If we think it's going to help our team win, then Joe puts it in the game plan. And if not, then we don't. We have a lot of discussions about that. Obviously, we want to keep Tommy as involved and as engaged as we possibly can. It's a challenging situation. There's no doubt about it. I think that's common. I went through it. Most quarterbacks across the country go through it. But we think Tommy's got a very, very bright future. We want to keep him involved as much as we possibly can, especially if it fits the game plan and gives us an advantage over our opponent. What was the other part of your question?
Just about a couple of the things that stand out to you the most about how Trace is a better quarterback now than he was last year.
Yeah, it's, to be honest with you, it's not even really close. Chris had mentioned a few things to me that she saw. Last year, the first 5 games, our record was 3-2. Right now, our record's 5-0. I think the most important stat that you have as a quarterback is wins, and he's 5-0 compared to 3-2. So I think, to me, the discussion should end right there. But I will go further. Completion percentage, first 5 games from last year was 58%. He's at 65%. Okay, even if you want to take the last 5 games of the year last year, the last 5 games of the year last year, he was 61% last year. He's 65 right now in the first 5. Touchdown to interception ratio last year in the first 5 games, he had 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Right now he has 12 and 4. I don't think it's even close, kind of in every category that you can look at. If you compare him to the last 5, he's pretty much on par. You can make an argument better in some categories. If you compare it to the first 5 games of last year, he's by far ahead. So I think he's pretty much better in every metric possible. I think the biggest thing is finishing. I think, for the most part, we're in good position, and for the most part, our fundamentals and techniques have been good. There's a few plays where I think, our inexperience has showed up a little bit at times. But for the most part, we got a hat on a hat. We're in the right position, and we got to sustain the block for a half second longer, and we're through there. We sustained the block on Trace's one run a few weeks ago, and it's a 45-yard gain, if not a touchdown. We sustained a block on one of Saquon's run instead of a 4-yard gain or a 6-yard gain. With Saquon, it's a big one. And I think that's the biggest difference for us right now is straining and finishing blocks. Now, are there some times where the defense makes a great call and they get us for a tackle for a loss or something like that, or a negative yardage or a 0 yardage play? Yeah, that's going to happen. But for us, I think the biggest difference for us is just straining a little bit longer, finishing blocks, from an aggressive demeanor, from an aggressive perspective. That's the next step for us. Instead of just being content with covering my guy up, let's create a little bit more space. Let's grind, let's strain, let's finish a little bit more. And I think that I could say that about the O-line. I could say that about every position. Defensively, we got to consistently hit our gaps. There's times where we're not getting into the gap we're responsible for, and all of a sudden now they run the ball through that gap, and we got a problem. So it's across the board, offense, defense, and special teams. We can strain a little bit more. Now, a couple weeks ago, I think this past Saturday was a great example. Saquon returns this one for a touchdown. Why? Because we're all on the same page, and we all strain and get him to the next level. He's one-on-one with the kicker. I like our matchups. A few weeks ago, we run a bounce return back to the field, and we got one guy that's running the wrong return, and if he's running the right return, we got everybody blocked, and Saquon scores again. So it's just those little things. It's the details, it's the focus, it's the finishing, it's the straining. It's a little bit, and that's been my argument to the whole team is if the coaches, if the trainers, if the doctors, if the players, if everybody can just get a little bit better, 1% better, then that's going to add up. And all those little percentage points are going to add up, and they're going to help us and hopefully give us a little bit more margin for error.